The bags you see everywhere are the ones the ultra-rich stopped carrying years ago. While the world chases waitlists for loud, recognizable logos, the truly wealthy have moved somewhere quieter. Places with no influencers, no airport boutiques, and sometimes no stores at all. And that is exactly the point. Over the next few minutes, we are counting down 10 bag brands only the ultra-rich actually collect. By number 1, you will understand why real wealth does not want to be seen. It wants to disappear. Number 10. Delvaux. Before Louis Vuitton opened its doors, before Hermès made its first bag, there was Delvaux. Founded in 1829 in Brussels, it holds the title of the oldest fine leather goods house in the world. And yet, most people have never heard of it. That is not an accident. It is the strategy. Delvaux has never chased celebrity endorsements. It has never flooded department stores or opened boutiques in every capital. Instead, it has spent nearly 2 centuries serving European aristocracy, royal households, and families whose names do not appear in magazines. The brand holds a royal warrant from the Belgian court, a distinction that cannot be bought, only earned through generations of trust. Their signature piece, the Brilliant bag, was introduced in 1958. It features a distinctive belt buckle closure that has remained virtually unchanged for over 6 decades. No visible logos, no trend chasing, just quiet, architectural precision that speaks to those who understand. The leatherwork is done entirely by hand in Belgian ateliers, with waiting times that stretch months for certain styles. Prices start around €4,000 and climb significantly for exotic leathers or limited editions. But the price is almost beside the point. Delvaux collectors are not buying status. They are buying invisibility with impeccable taste. They are buying entry into a world that does not care whether outsiders approve. But if Delvaux is quiet, the next brand on our list has taken scarcity to an almost extreme level, a name even most luxury insiders barely know. Number 9. Moynat. Some brands whisper. Moynat barely speaks at all. Founded in 1849 in Paris, Moynat began as a trunk maker for European aristocracy during the golden age of travel. Its pieces were designed for train journeys across continents, for steamship voyages, for a world that moved slowly and demanded luggage that would last generations. Then, for nearly a century, it disappeared. The brand went dormant, its heritage buried under the noise of flashier names. Until 2011, when LVMH quietly revived it. But here is what makes Moynat different from every other resurrection story. They did not scale it. They kept it rare. Bernard Arnault himself reportedly collects Moynat, treating it as a personal passion project rather than a growth vehicle. Today, Moynat produces an extremely limited number of bags each year. There are only a handful of boutiques worldwide. You will not find them in duty-free shops. You will not see them on influencer grids. The brand does not pursue visibility because visibility would destroy exactly what makes it collectible. Annual production reportedly stays in the low thousands, a rounding error compared to mainstream luxury output. Their structured silhouettes, like the Régine and the Gabrielle, reference old Parisian elegance. The craftsmanship is meticulous, often involving techniques passed down from the original trunk-making ateliers. Prices range from around 5,000 to well over 15,000 euros, depending on materials and complexity. But more than price, it is access that defines Moynat. Certain pieces require existing client relationships. Others simply are not available unless you know to ask. That is the currency of true luxury in 2025. Not what you can afford, what you can find. And if Moynat is hard to find, the next brand is easier to see, but even harder to recognize. No logos, no signals, just design. Number 8. Valextra. There is a certain kind of wealthy person who finds logos embarrassing. Not aspirational, not desirable, just embarrassing. For them, there is Valextra. Founded in Milan in 1937, Valextra built its reputation on a simple, radical idea. The product should speak, not the brand. Their bags carry almost no external markings, no monograms, no hardware emblazoned with initials. The only signature is a subtle, blood orange lining, visible only when the bag is open. A private wink to those who know. Even the stitching is hidden, folded inward, so nothing interrupts the clean exterior surface. Valextra calls this philosophy anonymous luxury, and it has attracted a very specific collector, the type who does not want to be identified by what they carry. The type who wants the object to exist purely as an object, beautiful and functional, without broadcasting anything about price or status. Architects, artists, and financiers populate their client base, drawn to the design purity. The craftsmanship is pure Milanese precision. Every cut, stitch, and fold is executed with an obsessive attention to geometry. Their signature leather treatment, Costa, creates edges so clean they appear almost machined. Prices range from approximately 2,000 to over 6,000 euros for their leather goods, firmly in elite territory, but deliberately under the radar. You will not see Valextra in street-style roundups. You will not find influencers unboxing their latest piece. That absence is intentional. Valextra's clients do not perform wealth. They simply possess it. And that distinction matters more every year. As the mainstream luxury market drowns in logos, Valextra remains the antidote. Design purity for people who consider visibility a compromise. But if Valextra offers design anonymity, the next brand goes even further. A name synonymous with the finest materials on earth, now quietly making bags that almost nobody talks about. If you're enjoying this breakdown, subscribe for more content like it. Number 7. Loro Piana leather goods. When people hear Loro Piana, they think cashmere, vicuña coats, the kind of fabrics that make other luxury brands look ordinary. But leather goods? That is the collection the ultra-rich know about, and almost nobody else does. Loro Piana started as a textile house in 1924, built on sourcing the rarest fibers on the planet. In 2013, LVMH acquired a majority stake for approximately 2 billion euros, recognizing what insiders already knew. Loro Piana was not just a fabric company. It was a gatekeeper to materials most brands cannot access. Their supply chains reach high-altitude farms and remote regions where exclusivity begins at the source itself. Their leather goods division operates on the same principle. These are not fashion bags in the traditional sense. They are material showcases. Butter-soft calfskin, deerskin so supple it feels unreal. Linings made from their signature cashmere and silk blends. Every piece prioritizes how it feels over how it photographs. The extra pocket bag has become a collector favorite. Understated in design, but extraordinary in material quality. But here is what separates Loro Piana collectors from the rest. Access. Much of their most desirable leatherwork is available only through private client relationships, special orders, invitation-only previews, the kind of shopping experience that never touches a public website. Prices are substantial, often starting around 3,000 euros, and climbing dramatically for bespoke or exotic options. Yet the price matters less than the channel. Loro Piana's leather goods are not bought, they are accessed. And that is the shift happening at the top of the market. The ultra-rich are not collecting bags from the biggest brands. They are collecting from the quietest ones. But if Loro Piana is about materials, the next brand is built for a life most people never see. Private terminals, private cabins, constant movement. Number 6. Métier London. There is a version of luxury that exists for cameras. And then there is the version that exists for private jets. Métier London was founded in 2017 by Melissa Morris, and from the start, it was not designed for fashion. It was designed for function. Specifically, the kind of function required by people who travel constantly, privately, and with a level of discretion most of us never consider. Morris spent years in the luxury industry before launching, understanding exactly what existing brands failed to deliver. Their bags are built around real problems. Compartments for passports and documents that actually make sense. Straps that sit comfortably during 12-hour flights. Materials that age beautifully instead of scuffing on the first trip. Every design choice solves something rather than decorates something. Zippers glide silently. Proportions fit under private aircraft seats. These are details only frequent flyers would ever think to demand. And the clientele reflects that philosophy. Métier is spotted less on red carpets and more in private terminals. Their collectors include hedge fund founders, diplomats, and members of European royal families. People who do not need a bag to signal success because their lives already have. The brand operates with almost no traditional marketing, no splashy campaigns, no influencer contracts. Growth has been organic, driven by word of mouth within a very specific network. If you know, you know. And if you do not, you were probably never the customer anyway. Prices range from around £1,000 to over £3,000 depending on the piece. Expensive, but not outrageous by luxury standards. What makes Métier collectible is not the price. It is the identity. Owning one signals membership in a class of people who value utility, discretion, and understatement over spectacle. But if Métier is built for function, the next brand is built on something else entirely. Silence, a name that became famous by refusing to promote itself at all. Number 5. The Row. Most luxury brands spend millions making sure you know they exist. The Row spends almost nothing, and somehow, everyone who matters still knows. Founded in 2006 by Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, The Row was never built for mass appeal. There are no runway theatrics, no celebrity ambassadors, no logo visible anywhere on the product. The brand operates on a principle that feels almost rebellious in today's market. If you have to explain it, it is not for you. The Olsen twins themselves rarely discuss the business publicly, letting the product exist without personal celebrity interference. Their bags, particularly the Margot and the Park Tote, have become quiet status symbols in circles where quiet is the only acceptable volume. Prices are steep. The Margot starts at around $5,000 and climbs depending on material. But collectors are not paying for leather alone. They are paying for restraint. The manufacturing happens in the same Italian facilities used by heritage European houses, ensuring quality matches the philosophy. The Row does not discount. It does not appear in outlet malls. It rarely engages with social media beyond the absolute minimum. That absence of noise has become its most powerful signal. In a market flooded with logos and collaborations and drops, the Row simply opts out. And here is what makes it collectible at the highest level. The scarcity is real. Production is limited. Certain colors and materials sell out and never return. There are no waitlists manufactured for hype. There are waitlists because supply genuinely cannot meet demand. For the ultra-rich, the Row represents a philosophy. The belief that true luxury should not need to convince anyone. It should simply exist beautifully for those who seek it out. But if the Row is about minimal visibility, the next name needs no introduction. Except the pieces the ultra-rich actually collect might surprise you. It is not the Birkin. Number 4. Hermès beyond the Birkin. Everyone knows the Birkin. That is precisely why the ultra-rich have moved past it. Do not misunderstand. The Birkin remains an icon, a cultural object that transcends fashion. But its very fame has become a limitation. When every celebrity, influencer, and aspirational shopper chases the same bag, it stops being rare. It starts being recognizable. And for a certain tier of collector, recognizable is the problem. The Birkin has become an entry point rather than a destination. So they collect differently. The Kelly cut, an elegant clutch version of the classic Kelly, appears at private dinners and black tie events where discretion matters. The Haute Courroie, Hermès's original travel bag dating to 1900, predates the Birkin by nearly a century and signals a depth of knowledge most buyers do not possess. Then there are the special orders, the private appointments where clients choose materials, colors, and configurations that will never appear in any store. These pieces can take years to complete and cost well into six figures. Some collectors pursue discontinued styles or vintage hardware variations that require years of searching. This is where the real collection happens. Not in flagship boutiques, but in quiet back rooms and by invitation-only previews. The ultra-rich are not waiting in line for the bag everyone wants. They are commissioning the bag nobody else will ever see. Hermès remains the pinnacle of leather goods craftsmanship. That has not changed. What has changed is how the wealthiest collectors engage with it. They have moved beyond the icons into the archives, the bespoke services, the pieces that require not just money, but relationships. And if Hermès is the peak of global luxury, the next brand is proof that old money in America had its own secret history, and most people missed it. Number 3. Mark Cross. Before American luxury meant loud logos and mass appeal, there was Mark Cross. And for collectors who understand history, there still is. Founded in 1845 in Boston, Mark Cross built its reputation outfitting a young America with the finest leather goods available. By the early 20th century, it was the brand carried by presidents, industrialists, and old money families across the eastern seaboard. Grace Kelly famously carried a Mark Cross bag in Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window, cementing its place in cultural history decades before product placement had a name. That single appearance sparked a surge in demand that the brand could barely fulfill. Then came the decline. As American luxury shifted toward global expansion and volume, Mark Cross faded. The brand changed hands, lost focus, and nearly vanished entirely. Department stores dropped it. Fashion magazines stopped mentioning it. By the 2000s, it existed, mostly as a memory, until 2010. A quiet revival led by Neil Fox brought Mark Cross back, but not as a mainstream competitor. Instead, it returned as a heritage play. Limited production, classic silhouettes, a focus on the craftsmanship and lineage that defined its original era. Today, Mark Cross collectors are not buying trends. They are buying history. Pieces reference archival designs from the brand's golden age, updated with modern materials but faithful to original proportions. Prices typically range from $1,000 to over $3,000, positioning it firmly in luxury territory without the flashpoint pricing of European mega brands. The appeal is lineage. Owning Mark Cross signals an understanding of American craft that predates the hype machine entirely. It is luxury for people who read the footnotes. But if Mark Cross represents heritage rediscovered, the next brand is heritage that never needed rediscovering. A Milanese house so discreet that most of the fashion world has simply never noticed. Number 2. Serapian. In Milan, there is a name that appears on no trend reports, earns no street-style coverage, and generates almost zero social media conversation. And yet, for nearly a century, it has dressed the hands of some of the most discerning collectors in the world. Serapian was founded in 1928, and from the beginning, it specialized in one thing: leather woven so precisely it looks almost impossible. Their signature technique, mosaico, involves hand-weaving thin strips of leather into intricate geometric patterns. Each bag can take days to complete. Each piece is essentially unrepeatable. The artisans train for years before they are trusted to produce finished work. This is not luxury you stumble upon. Serapian operates a single flagship boutique in Milan and a small handful of points of sale worldwide. There are no department store placements, no duty-free counters. The brand remains family-controlled, deliberately scaled to preserve the craft. That independence means no pressure from shareholders demanding growth at the expense of quality. For the ultra-rich, that is the draw. Serapian offers something most luxury brands cannot: genuine rarity without manufactured hype. Their clients often commission bespoke pieces, selecting leathers, colors, and weaves tailored to personal specifications. Prices vary widely, depending on complexity, but custom mosaico work can climb well beyond 10,000 euros. And here is what makes Serapion the collector's secret. There is no resale market to speak of. These bags do not circulate. They do not depreciate publicly because they barely appear publicly at all. Owning one means possessing a piece of Milanese craft history that exists almost nowhere else. But if Serapion is rare, the final name on our list does not exist in any traditional sense at all. No brand, no storefront, no logo, just a private commission between collector and artisan. Number 1. Bespoke. Atelier bags. At the very top of the pyramid, there is no brand at all. The ultimate tier of bag collecting does not happen in boutiques. It does not involve waitlists, authentication cards, or resale value calculators. It happens in private ateliers, small workshops in Florence, Paris, and London, where master artisans take commissions directly from clients who want something that cannot be bought any other way. These craftspeople often trained at the major houses before going independent, carrying the techniques without the corporate constraints. These are one-of-one pieces. The client selects the leather, often sourced from the same tanneries that supply the major houses. They choose the hardware, the stitching, the dimensions. Every detail is specified, discussed, and executed over weeks or months of collaboration. The result is a bag that belongs to no category, carries no label, and exists only for its owner. Some artisans produce fewer than 20 pieces per year, dedicating months to a single commission. Prices vary enormously, from several thousand euros for simpler designs to 6 figures for elaborate, exotic creations. But price is almost irrelevant here. What matters is the relationship. Many of these artisans do not advertise. They do not take new clients without referrals. Access itself is the barrier. Finding them requires connections that money alone cannot buy. And that is the point. At this level, luxury is no longer about signaling anything to anyone. It is about possession in the purest sense. An object made for you by hands you trust, with no need for external validation, no logo, no recognition, no resale market, just craft, privacy, and permanence. This is where the ultra-rich end up when they have collected everything else, not chasing the next icon, building something that belongs only to them. And maybe that is the real lesson. Luxury, at its highest expression, is not about being seen. It is about knowing what you have and needing no one else to understand.